Amazing Departures, episode number 1. One of the wonderful things people are doing is they are having a cap panel that is custom made. It's a custom memorial to the person, and that's inside the lid of the casket. Hello, listeners, and thank you so much for joining me on Amazing Departures on Always Memorial Radio. I want to just take a moment and thank you for giving me a few moments of your time. I know that there's a lot of resources out there to answer the questions that we answer here on the show, including your local funeral provider, and I'm very honored and humbled to have you here listening to this show. The title of this show is What Kind of Casket Should I Get? There are so many different types of caskets, and they typically will be categorized into two, wood and metal. The metal caskets are generally more popular than the wood. Metal come in steel, bronze, copper, and stainless steel. The most popular caskets in the metal category are the 18 gauge and the 20 gauge steel caskets. The 18 gauge is a little thicker than the 20 gauge and is about 50 pounds heavier. Most of these caskets are have gaskets, which is basically a rubber liner that creates a closure from the top to the bottom of the casket. This in no way keeps the elements from getting into the casket, but there is a better seal than if it was not gasketed. And in fact, funeral homes and casket makers are not allowed to say that they protect the inside from the caskets. It's not an airtight seal. The next type of casket is the wood caskets. And there are several different types of wood: mahogany, walnut, cherry, maple, poplar, pine caskets, perhaps made from a local casket maker, which is always nice to have a locally sourced and made casket. One of the more popular wood caskets is a wood veneer casket. And the wood veneer casket is a piece of wood that's put over other types of wood. And it is not a solid wood. It's basically a thin layer of wood that goes over different types of interior. Sometimes it's not even wood inside. But these veneer caskets are very nice. And typically the most popular casket that you can purchase in the wood category. Now, what kind of casket should you get? One of the wonderful things that people are doing is they are putting a custom cap panel, and that's the cap panel is when you open the inside of the casket, there's a space there on the top of the lid. And typically it's about 18 inches wide, and you can put a piece of and some casket companies or funeral providers are putting a piece of foam or an image, like a photograph, inside the top of the cap panel, so that a photo of the person or a photo of the American flag or something that they love is inside the casket and is displayed at the funeral. Another option is to have a custom image onto the casket, and this can be wrapped like a car, or it can be airbrushed, so it can be painted. There's a lot of different ways that casket makers are customizing the casket, but that's a really nice way to have some options to let the identity of the person shine through and show on their casket and memorial. Thanks so much for listening to the first episode of Amazing Departures. Until next time.